First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise therefore or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievance.
Did you know the Due Process Clause guarantees your basic rights, including the First Amendment?
Oh, really?
You
Well, Paige, in the First Amendment under freedom of religion, you have the right to practice any religion you want, or none at all.
Ah, I did not know that.
In your freedom of speech, you have the right to say what you believe is true and express ideas that may be unpopular in public.
However, you are limited so that you can't libel or slander information that is knowingly false.
Hey, did you just use two vocab words, libel and slander?
Yeah, I did. Here's an example of the protections of the freedom of speech.
Hello here. What's trending in technology this week? The Supreme Court voted 7-2 to overturn a California state law that banned the sale of violent video games to minors, essentially ruling this law unconstitutional, which means that video games are now under the protection of free speech, much like books and other forms of media. I know that some of you out there believe that violent video games cause violence, and if I hear another one of you guys claim that, so help me, video games don't cause violence. Violent people cause violence. And if you don't believe me, why don't you just rewind the clock 100 years? People were still violent. 200 years, people were still violent. 1,000 years ago, people were still violent. Long before violent video games existed.
Here's an example of unprotected freedom of speech. Oops.
Ahmed, no, it's Ahmed. That's what I said. No, you said Ahmed. It's Ahmed. Silence! I kill you!
In your freedom of press, you have the right to criticize the government and print the truth as you see it, despite honest mistakes.
In your freedom of petition, you have the right to sign and create petitions.
But you must follow a set format which includes having full names, addresses, and residing in the area where the petition is being presented. Here is an example of protected freedom of petition.
That didn't go to school because he wanted to stay home and play video games, smoke weed all day, hang out at the mall with his friends. This is a kid that did something good. He did a good deed taking care of his sick mother. He should be allowed to graduate high school. There is a petition going around because the kids at his school, his peers, they want him to graduate with them. They like this kid. I feel that he should be able to graduate. So I signed a petition. If you want to sign a petition, and pass it along, please do that, man. Because that's just not right, man. That's some bullshit.
Here is an example of unprotected freedom of petition.
Oh.
Hello, miss. I'm here getting a petition signed because I live in Wisconsin and, cheese is just smell nasty, so we want a better smelling cheese. So we're trying to get that petitioned. Will you agree to sign?
Well, I don't live in Wisconsin. I live here in California, but I'll sign it if I'm not going to put my real name.
That's fine. Here's a pin. Thank you. In your freedom of assembly, you have the right of association and to assemble in a public place as long as they are peaceful. Also, you're allowed to picket.
Did you just use right of association, picket, and assemble? 3 of our vocab words?
Yeah. Anyways, your freedom of assembly is limited
so that you can't assemble for an illegal purpose or show any signs of violence.
Also, you can't block traffic or disturb the public, all the while being aware that the government can charge a fee for meeting and marching.
Here's an example of protected freedom of assembly.
Here's an example of unprotected freedom of assembly.
Well, they may try to.
Yeah, but then they get arrested. That is shit. Because the police would hit them. Why that?
Because we're here non-violently and we know that we have the moral higher ground. It's unacceptable for police to hit.
I know, but you get arrested.
February 24th, 1969, the Supreme Court decided on Tinker versus Des Moines that Tinker was exercising their freedom of symbolic speech while wearing bands to protest against the Vietnam War.
So you're saying Tinker won?
Duh.